Hello, this is David Allen and you are watching Sporting Icons.
Right, so Frank Warren has said he is point blank refusing to make Nathan Gorman versus Daniel Dubois, even though it was ordered by the British Boxing Board of Control. Now, if you guys want to see that video for that interview, all you guys got to do is go into my previous video there with Frank Warren denying all knowledge of StubHub selling tickets on behalf of Wilder and Tyson Fury. Okay, if you go in there, in the description box, there is a link that I put in there where you can not only hear Frank Warren talk about, briefly at least, about the StubHub situation, but also this particular point of Nathan Gorman and Daniel Dubois. Now, Daniel Dubois, he's the English heavyweight champion, okay, 21 years old. Nathan Gorman has had about half a dozen fights more, 22 years old, okay? So these guys are at the same kind of stage of their career, you could probably argue, right? Both young, both prospects as such. Now, Frank Warren has been critical of Eddie Hearn for quite some time, saying that we always put on our fighters versus our fighters. Eddie Hearn never does. Well, Eddie Hearn does, and he does it consistently. Okay, he really does. And a lot of people criticise him for it, because he makes a lot of in-house fights, as in the undercard parts. Not necessarily the headliner, but the undercard. But one fight he did do was Lawrence Okolie versus Isaac Chamberlain. Both of these guys at a very similar stage to what Nathan Gorman and Daniel Dubois are at. He made that fight. Yet Frank Warren, he's got Daniel Dubois, he's got Nathan Gorman, and he's got Anthony Yarde. Anthony Yarde has not even fought domestically yet. He's already ranked highly in the WBO. Why is he WBO? Because Frank Warren and the WBO have a special kind of relationship, along with Bob Arum with the WBO. Whatever that is whatever it is. They even create these WBO version of a European title for Anthony Yarde. Okay, but yeah, Anthony Yarde bypasses the whole British level because Frank Warren doesn't want to risk him against even the likes of Ricky Summers or Joshua Buatsi or Jose Burton, whatever. He just doesn't want to risk it. And I can see it being exactly the same way with Nathan Gorman and Daniel Dubois. Difference is, Nathan Gorman wants to fight. He wants to fight Daniel Dubois. He's been calling him out for quite some time. Now, Frank Warren, he said, it doesn't matter what these fighters want, I am not making the fight. So this is going to go down a couple of different ways. If he carries this on, Nathan Gorman, who really wants this fight with Daniel Dubois, whenever his contract is up, could end up walking out the door and jumping ship. Because he's not getting what he wants. He wants Daniel Dubois. Okay? Now, with Daniel Dubois against Nathan Gorman, English title. So, Nathan Gorman could turn around and say, you know what? I want that belt. So, Daniel Dubois either fights me. I don't care whether or not you like this or not, Frank. But Daniel Dubois fights me for that title or he vacates it. Either way, I want to be fighting for that title. Now, Frank Warren says that the British Boxing Board of Control, they can't order these fights, whatever. Well, actually, they can. Okay, they can order it. It doesn't mean the fighters have to take it, of course not. But it's exactly the same way as any sanctioning body, WBC, WBA, whatever. They can order a fight. Doesn't necessarily have to happen. Just means that they drop down in the rankings, that's all. They lose all opportunity. So, for Frank Warren to just point blank refuse this fight, listen, this fight isn't going to get any bigger. And I don't want to be rude about this, okay? Because Nathan Gorman, he can sell a fight. If he's given the platform to do it, he can do it. He's a very confident lad. Okay, he's part of the Ricky Hatton gym. He's only 22 years old. He's only had a half a dozen fights more than Daniel Dubois. So these guys are on the same kind of level. But he wants Daniel Dubois. And he can sell it. He can verbally do it. We're in the day and age now where it's WWE style. If you want your guys to be a pay-per-view star, they have to open their trap. Daniel Dubois does not do that. If you listen to a Daniel Dubois interview, you can't hear him. He's like a mute. And I don't want to be rude about him, because maybe he could go on and become the next big thing. And I hope he does. I hope the same for Nathan Gorman and plenty of other fighters. Okay? But he's never going to become a pay-per-view star until he gets some media training. He's very shy. He's very in himself. He just doesn't speak. You can't hear him when he talks. So therefore, Nathan Gorman and with Daniel Dubois in the other corner can never ever be built into a super fight. It cannot happen. It just cannot happen. These guys need to open their traps to do that. Nathan Gorman can do it. Daniel Dubois, I'm not too sure if he can. And he doesn't have a great mouthpiece behind him as well in Frank Warren. Frank Warren's a great promoter, but He's not really one to sell a fight, to sell you a fight. So this fight, when Frank Warren said 20, 30, 40,000 people, as with this as a headliner, and a few fights down the line, it isn't going to happen. This fight is going to get no bigger. The fans want it now, and if you keep knocking it back, people are just going to lose interest is what's going to happen. And maybe Nathan Gorman or Daniel Dubois could end up taking an L between now and then. So yet again, he's got Daniel Dubois that he wants to protect. And Daniel Dubois doesn't seem too interested in fighting Nathan Gorman. He really doesn't. And it's a terrible situation, it really is. But I do understand they are both young and they do have a lot of learning to do. But at the end of the day, Frank Warren pulled Daniel Dubois out of the amateur system way too early. He showed him the green paper, the money, and Daniel Dubois came running. So he pulled him out of his learning years. So he turned pro. So you turn pro, we expect. Regardless of your amateur career, you decide to turn pro. Once you turn pro, we demand, we expect, okay? So if there's a fight with him and Nathan Gorman, why not? Why not? Maybe it's a case of Frank Warren's, I mean, for me, I believe that he has more hope and he wants Daniel Dubois to be the next Joshua. He probably doesn't even look at Nathan Gorman that way, but he'll kind of keep him on like a bit of a leash. He'll kind of like keep him close by just in case his flagship of Daniel Dubois goes down the toilet. He's got Nathan Gorman as a backup. For me, Nathan Gorman should never be anybody's backup. He's his own man. Nathan Gorman could legitimately beat Daniel Dubois right now. I'm not saying he will. I'm saying that he could. And he's very confident in it. Very, very confident. So I don't know why the wait. This fight isn't going to get any bigger. So Frank Warren, well, it's me that's going to make the fight. It doesn't matter what Nathan Gorman wants. I don't want this fight. This fight is not going to happen. That's not music to anybody's ears. It's not. It's just another one where people can go, okay, so Daniel Dubois, he's going to be the next Anthony Yarde. Anthony Yarde's going to be the next Deontay Wilder. Just cherry pick your way until you get to like 30, 40 fights, and then maybe you might just step up. Not good enough. You see, we're not asking Daniel Dubois or Anthony Yarde to go fight killers out there, world champions, not at all. We're fighting domestically. Daniel Dubois is the English champion. It's been ordered that he fights Nathan Gorman. So Daniel Dubois, take the fight. Daniel Dubois and Nathan Gorman can take this out of Frank Warren's hands. Well, they can say, no, we are going to fight each other. Frank, you are going to make it. It's been ordered. And if you are not going to make this fight, then we're going to have to find someone else who does. Because you're going against contract here. We've been ordered for this fight. We're both willing to do it. Let's get it on. Now, we know that Nathan Gorman is willing to do it, and he will say to Frank Warren, I want this fight, I want that title. Daniel Dubois, no, I don't think so. I don't think he particularly fancies Nathan Gorman. To be brutally honest, I don't think he does. So, either way, I don't think we're going to get this fight. I think Daniel Dubois is going to end up vacating and ruining any kind of chance that he has of a British heavyweight title fight in the next year or so. Because the British Box Border Control will not sanction him to fight for that title if he refuses this fight with Nathan Gorman. I'm telling you, they won't do it. They really won't. And it just seems that Frank Warren just wants to wrap him up in cotton wool. Is it a case of because he didn't look too good against Kevin Johnson? For me, I have no issue with the fact that he went the distance with Kevin Johnson. I would have preferred like a late stoppage, but I did want Daniel Dubois to go a few rounds. And that's exactly what he'd done. He went a few rounds. He can prove that he can go the distance. Okay, he went the distance with somebody who wasn't punching back, but still, he can go the distance, okay? So I have no real concerns about Daniel Dubois. He's shown that. But if Eddie Hearn can make his young prospects fight each other, when both of his fighters are willing to do it, listen, Daniel Dubois, you need to take this out of Frank Warren's hands is what you need to do. You need to, you and Nathan Gorman, get your heads together. You may not like each other too much, I don't know, but get your heads together and say, I want this fight. I refuse to give up my English title. I refuse to give it up for him. I refuse it. I'm going to fight him. Frank Warren, you are going to make this fight. It's been ordered. You're going to make this fight. I don't want Daniel Dubois to get a reputation of ducking anybody. Because if he starts getting a reputation right now for ducking, it's going to stick. And that's exactly how it is. Why do you think that Wilder is got to this point of 40 fights and people still call him a cherry picker? Because he went through all this where he was refusing to fight anybody with a pulse. So anyway, that's what's going on. Frank Warren is refusing to make this fight because he believes that this fight is a huge fight down the line. Personally, I don't think this fight's going to get any bigger, but that's just my opinion. You let me know yours, drop your thoughts below, click that thumbs up, and catch you all on the next video.